So this is Kinetic Fusilol, 12 projectiles, scaling duration really low. Put Swift Affliction here just to showcase my point more. But I want to make the skill where you could just like spam it and attack, because I didn't want to do some like metronome shit where I had to like attack and then wait, attack and then wait, because I'm just not mechanically gifted enough to do that. I'll just fuck it up and it'll be tilting. And it's just too active for me. But anyways, I wanted to investigate the skill because the numbers on it seemed insane. I just wanted to test out the mechanics of it. And yeah, I think the skill is very good. I don't know what the skill feels like to play, but I do know like the DPS numbers on it are really high. So could be bait if it feels terrible, but I know the numbers are nuts. But one of the first things I wanted to test with it is, so it's like an obscene damage skill already if you hit with like, if you scale the projectile count, right? But what if you sling a tornado at point blank range and fork it? Do you get double damage? The answer is yeah, you do mostly. But I dismiss that pretty quickly because when you attack at a distance, look at this shit. Just like hits like no times at all. So you completely lose the ability to deal damage at a distance if you do this. And then I was about to go to sleep and I was thinking, oh, why fork? Just use Pierce, because Pierce will work normally. And let me just remove fork here. It doesn't need to be awakened fork, doesn't matter. But if you just pick up one Pierce, you should still be able to attack at a distance like normal. But then when you get to point blank range, you should be able to get double damage because the skill creates an AoE explosion when it hits stuff. That's why it works with fork, right? So you still get this effect, but you don't lose the ability to attack at a distance. And theoretically, if your tornado spawns in front of you like this when you're clearing, it should still, since it's every projectile goes to the tornado, it will consume all of the pierce. So then the chains will happen normally. But you get the ability to do this, like point blank range. Just get like an insane amount of hits. But like I was saying, I have no idea if the skill feels remotely good to play at all. I have not played it at all. I just know the numbers seem insane, so I kind of wanted to investigate it. I was playing a Wallbang Saboteur Connect Blast of Clustering and felt a little clunky, and the damage wasn't as high as I would like with the investment I already had in it. So might be looking at a new build, but I really need to go to sleep. Just wanted to kind of get this out there before I did, because I think this is really powerful, and the second I wake up, this is what I'm going to be looking into, trying to figure out how to do it. One of the things I really want to try with it, so I was talking about warp timepiece that you use early to get the duration low enough to do this kind of thing, to like so you can just spam attack it. But then my buddy Spawn recommended the the boots that got like giga buff this league were the delirious boots, where the debuff lasts half as long. It's like 1 second now, as opposed to 2. So I think those boots, like with around like 240% reduced debuff for duration or something like that, should be relatively playable. It might be like 240. It's like a little bit north of 240. But the point is, those boots are insanely strong, and I think they're finally usable this league. And you incidentally have to build around them to play the Fusilade this kind of way anyway, so you're like kind of incentivized to use them. I think one of the most obvious ways to do that is to go champion, because you get the 15 fortification stacks and then 20% double damage, which is insane for a pair of boots. It's like 20% more damage and then 15% additional fortify. It's actually absurd. I believe Nugi is doing that right now. I think I saw him doing that. I don't know if he's got that character together or not, but the other thing you could do is technically just the explodey boots, like the same boots, but the all damage poisons, and then poison explodes to help you clear. Because I don't know if the clear on the skill is playable at all. I genuinely have no idea. I'm probably gonna try that, see if that fixes it if it's bad. The other thing that's kind of nice is if you need to get the projectile count to 12, you don't need to get it that high. The skill's just good DPS even at like 6 proj, but hell, it's actually even good at like 4. But if you scale proj really high with like GMP and greater volley, you get no damage penalty if you get poisoned, so that's something you could technically consider. You do lose the spell damage, 150% spell damage scaling with it, which is definitely a pretty big downside. And if you're doing like champion, you lose like perseverance scaling if you stack fortification, scale armor and evasion really hard. So there's upsides and downsides. I don't know how the skill works. I just know that the numbers on it are very good. So hopefully people want to explore, figure out like if the skill feels good, if it's playable, if it's like one of the most dog shit feeling skills in the world. Because like I had the same thing that happened with Kinetic Bolt of Clustering, or not clustering. Kinetic Bolt of Fragmentation, where that is like technically like one of the highest damage skills in the game, like back before it got nerfed. But the thing is, the skill just felt horrendous to actually play, and it would turn your game into slideshow when you attack. This skill doesn't do the slideshow thing, but it might have the same problem. I assume it doesn't because it has all the chains, but you never know until you actually play the skill, which I have not yet. So mileage may vary. It might not feel very good, but we'll find out. I just know that the skill is insane damage. I need to go to bed, very tired, get some sleep, wake up, And I'm leveling a new character, I guess, already. It's the fastest reroll for me ever, but that's not true. But anyways, all right, poops and butts out. Oh, I did want to touch on like the attack time versus duration scaling like math. I don't think this has been cracked yet. So like right now I have an attack time of 0.18. I have a duration of 0.16, so my duration is lower than my attack time, and I fire 12 projectiles. If I spam an attack like this, as you can see, I'm very much not getting my full hits. But if I put on something like Swift Affliction, dear God, I hope you don't have to actually use Swift Affliction. You probably don't, but now I have a duration of 0.12 seconds. As you can see, I can spam normally and get my full hits. But it's always going to be, and if you aren't someone who's going to want to mess with something like this, I would probably recommend not investigating this kind of build. But essentially, it's always going to be a balancing act of how many projectiles you have, how much duration you have, and how much attack speed you have. It seems like as you lower the duration of the skill, it increases how fast the projectiles fire. Like it lowers the duration of how long it takes for them to like start firing, but then it also increases the fire rate. So it's not exactly seem to 1-to-1. I'm not sure if I'm sure the math will get cracked on this at this league or something like relatively close. So people have like a heuristic of they know how much you actually need to get. But it's always going to be just like lowering proj count, lowering attack speed, or reducing duration further. Now you can reduce duration further with like less than ideal means. Like you can get hasty demise up here, which is probably not going to be very good for you. You can put on a dusk ring in your left ring slot. You can put on a time clasp in your right ring slot. There are other things you can do like that. Now you're thinking probably like, man, if you lower the duration really, really low, it would be really good for Coiling Whisper. And while that is definitely true, although you might have to use 2 duration rings, I assume you only have to use 1. But if you do the Coiling Whisper thing, the most awkward part of it is Coiling Whisper's power is that it scales your attack speed like crazy, right? But scaling your attack speed like crazy is anti-synergistic with this because if you get too much, then the projectiles never fire. Now, if you do like put on, like your Coiling Whisper, and then you put on like not a Dusk Ring, I think you'd actually want to use like Time Class not Time Class. How can I never remember the name of the thing I'm talking about? Oh yeah, it's Time Class, not Warp Time Beast. Yeah, Time Class. You put Time Class here, Coiling Whisper here, and then you do have like not even Hasty Demise. You would end up with a 0.09 second duration Kinetic Fusilol, so that might still be low enough that you could justify doing it. And you can get it to like even a little bit lower at this, and there's probably some other effect that I'm not thinking about. So maybe you could do it. I don't even know if we know where Coiling Whisper drops from anymore, but yeah, maybe that's an angle. I mean, if you can put Coiling Whisper, the Delirium Boots, and a skill with this high of damage in like all the same package, holy shit! Just like the build that would create. And honestly, what I was thinking about is if you're using Coiling Whisper, you lose your curses, right, and then Res Pen. But the thing is, if you use the Prospero's like package that like I'm so fucking high on lately, you can like especially if you're like champion, you can put like Dorian's prototype have an insane amount of armor with the same amount of Molten Shell with Prospero's. Oh wait, shit, then you lose a ring. So you need a 3rd ring slot. Why are the ring slots so good? I don't know how you build this, but there's a lot of shit you could do. God, you give up your belt, but then that's terrible too. I don't know. There's something. There's a package here that seems insane, and I guess like let the race begin. I don't know. I assume a lot of people are gonna be working on it. So good luck. Poops and butts out. For real this time, though. Seriously, get the fuck out of here.